Why don't we bring in an expert here? Kurt Warner joining us, the Hall of Famer, NFL Network's coverage, first round of the draft coming up tonight at 8 Eastern as we make way for Kurt Warner on the program.
What's going on? How we doing, people? Let's go. What's up, my friend?
Hi, buddy.
How you doing?
You weren't drafted.
I was not.
But I'm wondering if you had been the last pick, if you had been Mr. Irrelevant, would that have worked against you more than just being a free agent, where you would have that label that you would be Mr. Irrelevant the rest of your career?
That's a great question. I think the difference always becomes when you're picked that late, you have to go to the particular team that drafted you, where if you become a free agent, there's usually 4 or 5 different teams where you get the opportunity to, at least in your mind, think, oh, I can pick and choose what the best situation is for me. But I think as a player, you always think, well, if I'm drafted, that gives me a better chance to make the team because they invested a pick in me. But I don't know. It didn't work out for me the way that it, as a free agent. So I'm not sure it would have been much better either way.
Okay, but how do you pick your team that you want to actually try to make?
Well, I mean, for instance, I picked the Packers. I picked the Green Bay team. And the reason that I picked them was because they only had 3 quarterbacks on the roster. Now, they were good quarterbacks in Favre, Brunell, and Detmer, a Heisman Trophy winner. But my mindset was, if they're only going to invite 4 guys to camp, I only have to beat out one of them, or if something happens, or if one of these guys is traded, there's a better chance for me to make the team there than to go to a team. I think San Diego at the time had 6 guys coming to camp, and being a free agent guy, like, okay, how many reps am I going to get? What kind of chance am I going to get to make the team? So that was my mindset at the time. Even though they were good players, hey, I feel like I have a better chance to get some reps and maybe showcase what I can do if I went to the Packers.
How would you compare yourself when you got to the Packers with what Brett Favre was doing at the time?
Well, I will say this, is that lining up next to Brett and Mark and Ty every day in training camp or during that period, I was more confident when I left that I could play in the NFL because I felt my physical skills matched up to those guys that I knew were NFL players. But Brett was, it was early in his stage, of being a starter and becoming that guy in the NFL. But I remember calling my family after seeing him for about 2 days, and I'm like, this dude's different. Like, this dude is special. Even though I don't think everybody knew it at the time because it was kind of the Brett Favre, spin around, throw it up in the air. You have these interceptions, kind of these crazy plays. When you saw him get between the lines and play football, he was different at that time.
What was he like in practice?
Well, I could take you into the meeting rooms. And so, Steve Mariucci, who I work with now, was our quarterback coach. Those 3 guys are in the room. And, oftentimes he would pull up tape and he's like, okay, Brett, tell me what the play is and formation, motion, call this play for me. And Brett's like throwing around and he's like, I don't know, Mooch. And then Ty's there and Ty just cleans it all up and he knows it all. He's just like a coach. But when you put Brett between the lines, everything seemed to just click. Like, I listened to him in the meeting room and I'm like, oh my gosh, what are we going to get on the practice field? And then he goes on the practice field and it was just bang, bang, bang. Like, everything just seemed to make sense to him between the lines. But, he couldn't look at it, the tape and recall everything there. But you give him a play call and let him go play football. And it was just really, really good.
When did you know you had arrived? Like, you could be a great player?
A great player? When I say arrive, for me, it was different with my journey. So in '99, when I became the starter, we actually had a bye the second week of the season, which they don't do anymore, but we had a bye the second week. So played the first week against the Ravens. Me and my wife actually went back to her hometown to see her family. And I got a call when we were driving down the street that I was the player of the week in the NFL after week 1. And that was my moment where, like, okay, I don't know if I'm ever going to play another game. I don't know where it goes from here. But for 1 week, I was the best player in the National Football. And that was kind of like my moment of, after the entire journey, like, all the things that I believed. See, I told you, at least for 1 week, I could be that guy. So that was kind of,
Do you
for
get
me, my
anything?
moment.
Do you get a certificate
Yeah,
for being player of the week?
maybe. Yeah, I think maybe they gave you a paper certificate. I don't have any idea. The phone call was enough for me to just kind of, okay, all right, we made it.
We're talking to Kurt Warner. He'll be on the draft coming up tonight at 8 Eastern on NFL Network. We spend so much time talking about quarterbacks, and I was just talking to Matt Miller, who's draft analyst for ESPN. If I'm Tennessee, why am I trying to get a quarterback when I can get a guy who is the Ohtani of the NFL and Travis Hunter? Yeah. So now, the sure thing is right there, correct?
Right, okay.
I'm going to take a chance on Cam Ward, who at best would have been the 5th quarterback drafted last year.
Yeah.
So why am I doing that? Why am I not patient to go, we'll find our quarterback?
Because it's as simple as, if you don't have one, you don't have a chance. I mean, that's the way it is in the NFL. Outside of, barring one of those unique situations where you have an incredible defense and an unbelievable run game, and your quarterback can be a complementary piece, it just doesn't happen very often. And so it's why we reach. It's why we talk about quarterbacks, because if you don't have one, you don't have a chance. And especially if you look in the AFC right now with the way that's going and all the players that you have there. And so that's why, at this pick, I agree with you. Like, okay, we've got guys that we know are going to be good NFL players. Cam Ward, really good college player. We don't know. But that's exactly why you have to take the chance, is because you just know you don't have an opportunity to win without it. And then I think that the second factor is we have no patience anymore. Yeah. We have no patience, not just for quarterback, we have no patience for coaches. And so these coaches know, okay, I can go build a roster for somebody else, because if I don't have a quarterback for 3 or 4 years, I'm gone and somebody else is going to come in and be able to use all these pieces I have. So you go and you try to get that guy that you think has a chance to be a special player for you, knowing if I find that guy, he gives us a chance every time we play, and then we go and build around him.
I had one of my greatest moments in my career, and it happened during your Super Bowl with Pittsburgh, because I'm going to hand out the trophy. I'm on the sidelines, and I'm with Steve Young. Okay. So Steve Young is with me as Ben comes onto the field, and Steve Young is doing play-by-play in color. So he's telling me from a Hall of Fame perspective what Ben is doing, what they should do. So he's doing this all the way down the sidelines. Now, I'm still thinking I'm handing out the trophy to you guys. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, so Steve is going, this is crazy. I mean, this is unbelievable. And then he throws the touchdown pass. And he said, you can't, we don't make those throws. That's not normal to make that throw. Yeah. So when you're watching all of this as a quarterback, you're probably saying, well, what would I do? Or, put yourself in that position, I'm guessing. At what point did you realize you were in trouble?
I realized I was in trouble when he threw the curl route to the right-hand side, and Antonio took it for about 70. Because all we're thinking on our sideline is, we've got the lead at that point, hold them to a field goal at worst, so we're going into overtime because we had kind of taken the momentum at that point. And so our whole mindset is just, you don't give up the big play. Like, keep everything in front of you. And then it was right off the bat when you throw a curl and he spins and sets them up inside the red zone. And that's when I thought, too many opportunities. Like, we're giving them too many chances. Like, if we gave them one shot in the red zone to go for the touchdown, I feel confident. You get down there and we give them 1st and goal, and they've got a chance for at least 4 plays down there. That's when I was worried. And, he had thrown a pass, I wouldn't say a better pass, but they had an opportunity to score a touchdown, the play before, and they missed that play. And so after that happens, you're like, okay, they missed one. Maybe we got a shot here. And then when he went and threw the pass to Santonio, from my vantage point, I'm like, oh, what's he doing? Like, there's 3 guys there. There's no chance. Like, I'm feeling pretty good that we're going to knock this down. And, of course, perfect pass, unbelievable catch in between 3 guys. But that's what, that's what Super Bowls are all about, is great players making great plays. But it was after that first quick curl route that spun out and turned into, 1st down into the red zone where I knew, like, we're in trouble here.
What still keeps you up at night, football-wise?
football-wise, it would be the Patriots Super Bowl in '01. Just that we didn't play our best game. Like, you want to go to the Super Bowl and you want to play your best game. You want to say, hey, you leave it like that game against the Steelers. Nobody expected us to be there with 2.5 minutes to go. We're leading in that game. We played a good football game and very easily could have been champs in that game. So I can live with that one, even with the long interception and all the stuff that happened. I can live with that one. It was 2001 where we were a better team than we played on that day. And when you get to those moments and, you know, what that could have meant for a lot of different things to have 2 Super Bowl championships in 3 years, all of that stuff, that's the game to me that I wish we could have back. And we could play that over again, because I really believe, you know, and nothing against the Patriots, we were the better football team. You know, we didn't play better in those 3 hours, but we were the better football team. We played 10 times. We win, I think, at least 8 of those. But that day, they outplayed us. We didn't put our best foot forward, and that's the game that just continually comes back through my mind more than all the others.
But what was the chatter beforehand? You're facing Brady, and he didn't have much experience.
Yeah.
And what was the defensive philosophy there?
Well, I mean, I think that our defensive philosophy was basically what happened. I mean, Tom Brady threw for like 150 yards in the game. Yeah. And they had, you know, I threw a pick 6. They had 1 touchdown pass. There was another one where Torrey kind of tripped, led to another, you know, interception that was points for them. And so I think the game plan was what we wanted it to be. And it's like, their offense isn't going to beat us. We've just got to play better than their defense, which obviously we had great confidence that we could do that with the team that we had. But that was more of the mindset going in. Tom Brady wasn't Tom Brady yet at that point. So it wasn't like a fear like, oh gosh, we got to worry about 12 at this time. It was more worried about their defense. Bill Belichick, we played him earlier in the year going in like, hey, what are they going to, we know they're not going to do the same thing they did last time. What do we have to prepare for it? So that was more of the matchup that I think we were thinking about going in.
I have a football here, and, you know, we get caught up in, if you'll hold that, okay, and show us the proper way to throw a football.
Proper way to throw a football?
Yeah, because it feels like some...
Like my grip?
Yeah.
Yeah, so my grip is one, I don't know where the camera is, but...
They'll find you.
Where I'm almost on the point of the football. And for me, I actually changed to that grip when I was in high school. When I watched a guy that was older than me threw it, he threw a really good ball, and so I'm like, okay, how's he hold the football? And he had his finger more towards the point. And when I first started doing that, I threw a lot of ducks anyways, but when I first started doing that, the ball never came off clean. But I always felt like I had more control with that point, you know, that finger on the point of the ball, because it's kind of the last thing that you release as you're throwing the football. So I felt like it gave me more accuracy when I was doing that. But I mean, I don't know if there's a perfect way to do it. I think, to me, it's like, grab it, what feels comfortable to you, do it. But that was the thing for me, is I wanted to have as wide a grip as possible on the ball, and I wanted to have my finger close to the point. So I just felt like it made me more accurate.
Do you care how inflated it is?
I mean, I would like it legally inflated. Like, I mean, whatever the standard is what I...
But why can't you have a football that you want and I have a football that I want?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, why do we have rules?
It's a dumb rule.
Why can't you do something that, I mean... I don't know.
But nobody benefits from this. Kickers get their own ball.
Hold on a second. Like, why would somebody do it if they don't benefit from it? Like, whatever that thing is. I mean, if you deflated a football or you pumped it up, like, you would only do that if you felt it gave you some sort of an advantage, right? And so...
Yeah, but we let kickers have their own ball.
I mean... Okay, but that's not the rule. Like, if the rule is everybody can have their own ball, and we actually do allow quarterbacks to break the ball in and do what they want to do. So,
do you realize that Aaron Rodgers told me that he overinflated footballs, and nobody said anything about that? Because he didn't have a guy known as the inflator, and Brady had a guy known as the deflator. It's silly.
Again, I don't know.
It's silly. Are you saying there should be...
It might all be silly, but to me, I mean, if
Are you
there's a rule,
calling into
just play the
question? You're
rules.
calling
Like,
into question Tom Brady's Super Bowl.
I'm
I
not.
think is
No,
what, Are we putting?
Oh gosh.
Is that what we're doing?
I knew somehow this was going to go there. You were somehow going to get me there. But I mean, the funny thing to me is, and maybe it's to the credit of those guys, overinflating or underinflating. Like, I never once thought about how much air. Like, give me the ball. Like, give me the ball. What ball is? Oh, it's this ball. Let's go play football. Like, that was nothing that I even thought about. A detail that I considered. I mean, maybe I should have, but it was nothing like, hey, this is legal. Somebody figured it out. Let's go play ball. That's just kind of what you do.
You're probably not having this conversation on the draft tonight.
I'm probably not.
Probably not. Okay.
Actually, I guarantee you I will not let it go there. Yes.
Okay. Great to see you.
Good to see you as always.
You can see more of Kurt Warner tonight. He'll be on NFL Network's coverage. First round, they start at 8 Eastern. We'll take a break. Daniel Jeremiah tells you where Travis Hunter is going. He'll join us coming up next here. Dan Patrick Show.